Here everyone, Scott with the Scottman. We're here to do a driving video today. We're here in Clare, Michigan. You can pretty much consider Clare, Michigan to be kind of like the gateway to up north, or to like northern Michigan. So in this video, we're going to be heading northwest on M-115. M-115 is a very popular highway which takes you over to, I would say, kind of the area to the south of Sleeping Bear Dunes. It starts here in Clare over at Business 127 in downtown Clare, and this goes all the way to Frankfort, Michigan, over on Lake Michigan. So it ends at M22 over in Frankfort. In this video, we're going to be taking M-115 from where it begins here in Clare, and we're going to go all the way to 131 just south of Cadillac, Michigan. It is a beautiful morning out today. Partly cloudy skies, although not the case if you go south of here. And my car thermometer is reading 76 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's just under 25 degrees Celsius. So it is a warm one because it's not even 9 o'clock yet. Because yeah, temperature-wise today is up, even up here, is supposed to get close to 90 degrees Fahrenheit. And in Celsius, that's like 32 to 33 degrees. So it's gonna be a hot one even for this far north. So right now, I'd say we're on the stretch of M-115, which the majority of people do not travel on, because people who are coming up from the southern part of the state, they're usually taking 127 up to Highway 10, or they're coming over from Highway 10 from I-75, and then they get off at M-115 northwest of Farwell. Which, matter of fact, I just filmed the video on Highway 10 just not too long ago on my way out to Ludington, when I filmed the stretch from 127 out to 131 over near Reed City. So we got a little bit of a ways to go in this video. According to that distance sign back there, we got, well, by now, between 4 and 4.5 miles to Farwell, Michigan, and then another 46 miles, so it might be closer to 45 miles now, to Cadillac. But as you can tell, it's a perfect day to head up north when it's nice and sunny up here, and it's like when I left the Metro Detroit area this morning, it was very cloudy. Heck, it even rained a little bit. I don't think, it didn't rain on my drive up, but I think it would have if I left an hour earlier. Anyway, so I'm spending the day today up in Cadillac. So I'm planning to do a video up in Cadillac, and I'm also looking to maybe even do a video up in Missaukee County, which is to the east of Cadillac, which has like Lake City, McBain. Well, those are like two small cities there. Which is kind of interesting how you call them cities when both Lake City and McBain, Michigan, they both, to my knowledge, they don't have a population above 1,000. So it's interesting how they're called cities, but then again, I don't really know the true definition of a village versus a city. Because like when I do like a lot of research for different towns or cities to check out, I'll see different things like incorporated, or incorporated as a village in this year, and then it was incorporated as a city in this year. So it's like, I'm really curious what goes into that. What makes a town like a village or a city, or if it's even incorporated, period. It's probably stuff I can easily look up on the internet. So yeah, this is the only stretch of 115 I have not been on, because I've always come off of Highway 10 and then taking that all the way up to, whether it's to Cadillac or going all the way up to like the Benzonia Beulah area or Frankfort, which I need to get back up to that area at some point, because that is a really nice area. Because I haven't been over to the Sleeping Bear Dunes, like that general area. been like 5 or 6 years since I went up there, which I need to get back up there. All right, I think we're starting to come into Farwell. Okay, so yep, Farwell village limit. So Farwell, I've not even been in Farwell before, but it's a lot smaller compared to Clare, which is what we were just in at the start of the video. Established in 1870. But yeah, it's amazing how low the gas prices are out here. A lot lower than they are in Metro Detroit right now. But it's like, yeah, the gas prices, as I was mentioning, I think one of my previous driving videos, they're really high right now. Like, they've been kind of breaking records, but they've been dropping like crazy though, just because the demand has gone down a little bit. Oh, nice little village here. But yeah, it's like yeah, with the laws, or I don't know if you consider them laws, but like the guidelines with like supply and demand, it really controls the price of goods. So it's like, yeah, when if you have a high demand and a high supply, typically you'll have low prices. But if the supply goes down but the demand is high, that's when your prices tend to go up. So then if you have a low supply but the demand starts to fall, then that's when prices will start to lower a little bit. It's pretty much one of the fundamentals of capitalism. But a little disclaimer, I did not get a degree in economics. So yeah, so it's like just a little disclaimer. Biggers, hogs, and dogs. So, gotta be a place like they get like burgers, hot dogs, like maybe like pulled pork sandwiches or something. Which, yeah, that sounds really good, but I'm not planning to get any barbecue while I'm up here today. So about another mile or so, we should be approaching Highway 10. And then it wouldn't surprise me if we see a little bit more traffic once we get past 10. Just because, again, starting at Highway 10 is where the majority of travel begins on this highway. Okay, gotta be careful here. Someone's turning into the gas station here. Okay, yeah, now I'm starting to see the interchange for Highway 10. So Highway 10 right up here, this is where the freeway portion either begins or ends. Because if you go east on Highway 10, that takes you back over to the north side of Clare. And that's, of course, this is the start of the freeway going east, and then eventually heads toward Midland and Bay City. And that's where Highway 10 ends, is west of Bay City over at I-75. And you go west on Highway 10 here, that's where the freeway ends, and then it continues as a 2-lane highway going all the way out to Ludington. And then if you want to continue on Highway 10 into Wisconsin, you take the SS Badger across the Lake Michigan over to Manitowoc, Wisconsin. So then, yep, here is where anybody who's going up to Cadillac or further northwest on 115, this is where people usually get on the highway. And it's like, yeah, notice the gas price is a little higher there because, yeah, it's like they're capitalizing on the people who are traveling to the, like, to Cadillac and up to, like, the Sleeping Bear Dunes area. Like, that's another thing with, like, the gas price. What I've seen, like, especially in Michigan. I don't know how it is in other places in the United States, but it's like you tend to find, like, a lot of the gas stations that are on heavily traveled areas, like, that are just off the freeway, that tend to be a little higher than other areas. Just because, yeah, usually the demand is going to be a little higher. Yeah, anybody who's like graduating like in economics, yeah, feel free to chime in the comments on it, yeah, if you like too. So yeah, it's like you can notice that I feel like the highway is a little wider here. Because, yeah, again, this is a more heavily traveled stretch of the highway. And notice how we're going to start seeing, like, passing lanes, which provide a lot of opportunities to, or for people to pass other cars as we continue our way up. Because I think that one sign said that, like, within, like, I think pretty much between here and 131, there's going to be, like, 6 passing lanes. So it provides a lot of people who want to go, like, 75, 80 miles per hour, which is pretty much 20 to 25 miles per hour over the speed limit. Gives them plenty of opportunity, a nice, easy opportunity to pass. Although we got someone who's kind of being a little impatient because they don't want to wait to the passing lane where it's nice and easy. Because, yeah, it's like just right here. Although for how fast he's going up ahead, he's not one of those people who's like, I'm going to go 75, 80 miles per hour. It's like, yeah, then, it's like, then hopefully you have $200 to pay a speeding ticket. So, yeah, so, yeah, these are pretty much commonplace up in northern Michigan on these larger 2-lane highways. You got these different passing lanes, which provide a very easy opportunity to pass slower traffic without having to worry about oncoming traffic. So it's like, as you can see, slower traffic stays to the right, where people on the left just use it just for passing. Although there's been, every once in a while you'll have that hoodlum who will travel slow in the left lane. It's like I'm the king of the road. I'll do whatever the heck I want. Well, people are passing by in the right lane, and then they're giving the slowpoke a dirty look, at best. But yeah, right now I'm trying to plan different trials for the rest of the year. Well, not sure how soon this video will go up, but I'm actually planning a trip to San Diego in August, in the middle of August. So yeah, finally going to go. Because I had to cancel going to San Diego twice because of the pandemic. Because I was originally supposed to go Easter weekend in 2020, and of course you know what happened. So then, because we weren't sure how long it was going to last, so I rescheduled it for Labor Day weekend in 2020, and things weren't really too good then either, so it's like I had to, that time I just outright canceled it. I didn't reschedule, I just canceled it. And I didn't get like a refund for my flight or anything. I just got like points, or like I ended up just getting like a voucher for a future flight, which I was able to apply for a trip to Boston back in Memorial Day weekend of last year in 2021. So because of that, it's like I only had to pay very little for my flight to Boston, which was really nice. So I didn't plan a trip to San Diego last year, but now I'm finally getting a chance to do that. time to back to California since 2018. I've only been to California twice, and both trips were to the Bay Area, which is basically San Francisco, Oakland, that area. So it'll be my first time in Southern California. And of course, everything I've heard about San Diego is supposed to be such an amazing city. It's like, I've heard nothing but good things about San Diego. And plus, the weather in San Diego is usually supposed to be really good. I'd say generally year-round. Especially if you're close to the water. Of course, if you start going more and more inland from San Diego, as you head toward, especially toward like the Imperial Valley, then it starts to get a lot hotter in the summertime. And then, yeah, I'm still trying to plan a trip probably to Europe in early October. Which I'm currently thinking of maybe going to Serbia, because I really enjoyed the trip I did in 2017 when I went to... So I went to Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Montenegro, and Slovenia, which all four of those countries used to be a part of the former Yugoslavia. And just like the area is just really beautiful. So I'd like to go back because Serbia was another country of the former Yugoslavia, and it's supposed to be really nice there. I've at least had one friend who's gone there and absolutely loved it. Like, because I think she went to Belgrade, which is the capital city and the largest city of Serbia, and then also to Novi Sad, which is another popular city, which is not that far from Belgrade. And of course, nowadays, a lot of people know Serbia because of Novak Djokovic, who's pretty much the greatest tennis player of all time. Because he's up there with Rafa Nadal and Roger Federer. Because yeah, they're kind of neck and neck a little bit for the most Grand Slam wins, with Nadal currently being the leader. And I think Djokovic is second place right now. I think he's one above Federer. Because yeah, with tennis, yeah, Nadal has I think 22 wins, Djokovic has 21, and then Federer has 20. I think that's right. So yeah, that would be a cool trip, and then yeah, it's like for the rest of the former Yugoslavia, it's like I still need to check out North Macedonia as well, which it used to be called Macedonia, but there is a big naming dispute over the name of the country because there is a region in northern Greece called Macedonia, and because I know it's like, for example, like North Macedonia, what it's called now, or the name it had back in the day was just Macedonia, or technically what they were called at the United Nations, they were called the Federal Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia. Because they wanted to be called Macedonia, but Greece was like, no. We have our own Macedonia. We were first. So the big naming dispute. So it's like they eventually came up with an agreement for the Federal Yugoslav Republic of Macedonia to become North Macedonia. So it's like, yeah, for example, it's like the whole naming thing. It's like, yeah, I'm sure you guys have heard of Alexander the Great, who is from Macedonia, but present-day Greece. I could be wrong about this, but I think he's from the city or town of Pella, which I think is in the Macedonia region of Greece. I could be wrong about that. I might have to look that up after I film this video. So it's like, yeah, I really don't know how the name for the name Macedonia came to play for what is North Macedonia today, because yeah, it's like the big difference between North Macedonia and the Macedonia region of Greece is that the Macedonia region of Greece, people speak Greek, and I think they're generally Greek Orthodox, if I'm not mistaken. That's the most popular religion in Greece. And then you go up to North Macedonia, then the language is different. Now you're getting to more of like, I think it's a Macedonian language, which is more of a, I think that's the name. It's probably that. If not, it's something very close to that. But it's more of a, it's not Greek, so they don't speak Greek in North Macedonia. It'd be more, they would speak more, it'd be more of a Slavic language. I think it is Macedonian, but yeah, it's part of the, it's part of the Slavic languages, kind of like how you have Serbian, Bosnian, Croatian, also Slovene, and then like Czech, and then of course also Bulgarian, Polish, and then Ukrainian and Russian. Like those are all like Slavic languages. Although they do have some of their differences too. But at the same time, you do have similar words that can be used in like in North Macedonia or in Serbia, but it could be the same words, let's say, in Russia. So I'll probably do like a trip for like a week and a half, but probably not just to Serbia. I'd like to either just before it or even like just after Serbia. I would like to maybe go somewhere else for like 2.5 days or something. I'd like to either, oh, we're entering Osceola County now? Because yeah, until now we were in Clare County. There's some different places I'm thinking about going to. It's like I could easily go to like Athens, Greece. Oh, here's the Muskegon River. So there's Athens, Greece. I could also go to like Rome, Italy. Or I also would love to go back. I'll go back to Ljubljana, Slovenia, because I only went for a couple days back in 2017, and would love to spend a little bit more time there. Especially in like early October, because I'm sure there'll be a lot of fall color there. Because I just remember when I went to Prague last year in the Czech Republic, the leaves were starting to change colors a little bit, and it looked really, really beautiful there. Yeah, the good news is that there's a passing lane coming up, so I'll be able to get around this trailer. It's not doing too bad speed-wise, but I could go just a little bit faster than this. So yeah, I need to make bookings, but I still have to decide what else I want to do along with Serbia. So I should try to maybe book flights soon, because yeah, flights to Europe aren't all that bad right now. It's like, although like gas prices here are pretty bad, gas prices in Europe are pretty bad too. And like a lot of the flights here domestically are pretty expensive too. They're also pretty high as well, but flights over to Europe aren't all that bad. Because yeah, what's interesting right now is that, I don't know what it is currently, but I think a week ago, for the first time in like a couple decades, the value of the euro is matching what it is with the US dollar. So it's like €1 is $1. which normally $1 is like not even, or like €1 typically is more than $1, but the value is become more equal lately. And heck, because yeah, another thing for a trip to Serbia, and it goes somewhere else either before or after Serbia. Because I was looking at like the flights for Air Serbia, which is Serbia's main airline. I was seeing some really good flight deals for a one-way flight between Belgrade, Serbia, and Athens, Greece. That were like 110, 120 euros, which is really good for a one-way flight. Imagine doing like a round trip, maybe like twice the amount. Like that's lower than just a flight from Detroit to Chicago. So it's like I need to act quick so that way I can capitalize on good prices. And then of course I'll decide a hotel I want to stay at too, or some places of lodging. I haven't decided what I want to do yet with that one. So coming up here, we have the intersection with M66, which M66 is a pretty popular highway. Because if you go to the north, M66 eventually goes up to Charlevoix, but before that it goes up to Lake City, up in Missaukee County. Oh, another 21 miles to Frankfurt, or Cadillac, 71 miles to Frankfurt. And M66 also heads north up toward Kalkaska. Going back to the south, that'll take you back down to Highway 10. But further to the south takes you down to Ionia and then to Battle Creek, and eventually down to Sturgis before crossing over into Indiana. So yeah, but anyway, getting back on topic here. So yeah, it's like I always enjoy going over to Europe just because you have so many different cultures all pretty much close to each other. Oh, and here is M60. Here's the intersection with M61. So yeah, so I think this is where M61 begins or ends. So M61 East now takes you back over to 127 where Harrison is. I think M61 is the same highway which goes out to Gladwin and then eventually to Standish. Yep, and here is the third of 6 passing lanes between Farwell and Cadillac. But anyway, it's like it's just a lot of culture over and a lot of like unique cultures over in Europe, and a lot of history too. It's like even like with Serbia, it's like yeah, there's supposed to be a really historic fortress in Belgrade. That's supposed to be really beautiful. Like stuff going back to well before even when it was Yugoslavia. And of course, Serbia has a lot of great food too. Because I love cevapcici or cevapi, because I had that when I went to Bosnia and Herzegovina, as well as over to Croatia. It's a lot of food over there. They're generally similar to each other. Although, like when I went to Dubrovnik, for example, there was probably a lot more seafood there because Dubrovnik is right on the water compared to Serbia, which is entirely landlocked. So yeah, so definitely have to get some cevapi again. But yeah, it's like one interesting thing too is like when it comes to restaurants over in Europe, it's like the culture when you dine in at a restaurant in Europe is a lot different compared to here in the United States or even in Canada. Because like typically when you go into a restaurant here in the United States and Canada, it's like you walk in, it's like most of the time usually you have the host or hostess take you to seat you at a table or a booth, or sometimes they might say just go ahead and sit anywhere. And then of course you have table service where they of course ask you what you want to eat or what you like to drink. And it's like a lot of times, sometimes they might strike a little bit of a conversation, try to be like, basically be very friendly with you. Another passing lane. It's like we just had one like 2 miles ago. And of course they'll bring your food or bring appetizers or whatever you order. And then it's like, yeah, I feel like every few minutes they'll come back to your table. It's like, how is everything? Do you need anything else? Where in Europe, it's like they're. I think it's because of the tipping culture we have here in the United States and Canada compared to Europe, where over here it's like because how it is in the United States typically is that people who are like servers, they don't earn the same wage as someone who's covered like under like minimum wage, where let's say the minimum wage is like $15 for example, or it could be $12 depending on where you live or where you're working. Servers, on the other hand, that's like it's a little different for them. So it's like it's a lot less just because a lot of their earnings are from tips. That's why it's like if you don't tip them, they practically chase you like, you hold them. To where it's very heavily frowned upon. We're over in Europe, yeah, it's more of like it's not, a lot of times it's not required. Sometimes it could be a very nice, respectful gesture, maybe round up the bill a little bit or something, or maybe pay up to 10%, like if you thought the service was really good. But you usually, again, check each country first for their tipping customs, because each country could be a little different. But a lot of cases, they could be to where it's like heck, I think in some countries tipping can even be frowned upon. Because yeah, it's like all they'll do, it's like they're just coming just to take your order. It's like they'll be like, what do you want to drink? What do you want to eat? Keep it very short and simple. Then they bring your drink, they bring your food, and they pretty much leave you alone. And then when the time comes where you want to pay, you have to wave them down and then you have to ask for the bill. Where over here, they'll bring the bill right to you, a lot of times without even asking. But it's like, yeah. So that's why, like, a lot of times when we hear about people from over here in North America going over to Europe, and they talk about when they go to a different country like Germany or Austria, for example, it's like, man, those servers are rude. It's like they're not friendly. They're not smiling. It's like, did they wake up on the wrong side of the bed? Well, it's like that's their culture. It's like, yeah, it's like they're trying to be professional. And it's like, yeah, then they want you to basically be able to enjoy the dining experience in peace. They don't want to feel like they have to come check on you every 4 minutes and disturb you. Or over here, it's like, why hasn't he or she come over to ask me how my food is? Although I feel like a lot of times when you're eating here at a restaurant here, like in North America, even like including here in Michigan, where it's like you're eating your food and then your server comes over and asks you how's everything, do you need anything? It's like I feel like every time they do that, it's like they're spying or eyeing on you to make sure that you have as much food in your mouth as possible. I was like, oh, my customer has so much food. And it's like run, so that way they can ask you while your mouth is full. So you're it's like, I don't know. It's like, I feel like every time a server comes over to ask me how everything is, I always have food in my mouth. So it's like, and of course we're busy with everything, it's like you feel like you're obligated to answer by instead of you have nothing in your mouth and you're like, oh yes, the food is quite good, thank you very much. So it's like, yeah, it's like I'm sure there's probably a meme out there to where it's like where you got a server who's eyeballing the dining room for someone to have their mouth full. Then there's a picture of a diner who has food in his or her mouth, and it's like, run! I have to ask him how his food is. I know that's not truly the case, but it just feels like it, because it's like I feel like 65-70% of the time I always have food in my mouth when they come over to ask me how my food is. So it's like, because you're asking me what my food in my mouth, like I have to answer. It's like when you're watching a lot of those old Peanuts specials or on TV. It's like anytime when any of the kids talk to any of like the teachers or like any like parents or any adults on the show, it's like you always hear like a trombone sound when they talk. It's kind of like that a little bit, where it's like womp, 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 womp. It's like, I don't know, but it's just hilarious. It's like I feel like every time I'm dining at a restaurant here in North America and I was eating something and food's in my mouth, that's when they always come over and ask me how my food is. But it's like, yeah, if you dine at a restaurant in Europe, you're usually not have to worry about, because you usually have to ask for the bill, because they're not going to come just bring it to you, or they're not going to ask you how your food is. So you don't have to worry about, you're not going to have to say, we're going to have the bill please, or anything like that with food in your mouth, because you're usually going to be done eating and you'll be able to talk clearly. But yeah, it's like I'd be curious if sometime in the future, if there ever be a change in the way that servers make money, to where they'll be paying, they pay the normal wages that, like the minimum wage that, or higher, that everyone else earns, to where it's not emphasized on tipping as much, to maybe match the rest of the world, or that won't be the case. It can be a big debate, because yeah, it's like there's definitely pros and cons to tipping, because yeah, it's like if you do a good job, it's like it's definitely a nice gesture to give them a little extra, because if you're going out of the way to help a person, it's like, yeah, you should get rewarded. That's the nice thing about tipping. But of course I feel like it's like, yeah, it's be kind of rough though. It's like if you come over to the United States from Europe and you're not used to tipping a server, and then you get the excellent service that you get at a restaurant, let's say here in Michigan, and then you don't tip, and then you not realize why they're coming after you with a pitchfork and like Come back here, you thief! It's like that's the thing about experiencing different cultures. It's like you get a different experience compared to what you're used to. And it's like when checking out other cultures, it's like you might like the way they do things better than your own, or you might think, oh no, I don't care for how this is compared to mine. So it's like, yeah, when it comes to comparing different cultures, there's no right or wrong answer. It's like people have their own opinions and views. It's just like with politics. Like people might people might have a view on one issue, but you might have a conflicting opinion on the same issue. It's like we're all unique. It's like, oh, we're entering Wexford County now. So we should be getting to Cadillac pretty soon. We won't be going all the way into Cadillac in this video. Be going just to the south. So I think for where we are on the map right now, I think I only have like another few minutes left in this video. But yeah, it is gonna be a hot one today. So I've been trying to save up all my water until I'm starting to walk around, so that way I don't get like heat exhaustion or anything. Although I do feel like I have to use the restroom, so I'm planning to start the Cadillac video probably at the main park that's in town, that's near like the Shea Locomotive, and so with it being a park, there's likely gonna be like a restaurant I could probably stop in. But yeah, despite the heat, it should be a nice day, and I don't think it's gonna be I think there's gonna be a little bit of humidity, but it's not supposed to be oppressive or anything. Just because I know like the rest of there's areas in the southern part of the country right now that's really hot and really humid. But then we got a bunch of thunderstorms coming in overnight, so, and then more tomorrow, which we got a strong cold front coming through, so it'll cool down a lot more after this weekend. So it's almost like I almost be better off coming up here on a Monday or Tuesday to film a video, but there's only one problem. I work during the week. So I'm pretty much stuck down in Metro Detroit during the work week. But on the bright side, the weather will be just as nice down there too, as it would be up here. Although maybe it might be a tad cooler up here, just because you're away from the city. So I'm trying to think, probably the best way into downtown Cadillac, I'm probably gonna want to. You know what? I should probably plug this into the GPS, my Google Maps here on my Android Auto. Directions to Cadillac, Michigan.
Cadillac is 8 minutes from your location by car in light traffic.
It's like, yeah, we're not that far away. Okay, so it's technically it's not even having me go to 131. So I'm going to be having to deny it a little bit.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto South Mackinac Trail.
Because it wants me to turn right up there, but I am not going to do that. So I'm gonna turn this off. All right, so we see the interchange with 131 up ahead after Mackinac Trail. At some point, I'll need to do the rest of M-115 in a video. Maybe on a day I decide to go up to Frankfurt or something. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video of M-115 going from where it begins in Clare, Michigan, all the way to 131 south of Cadillac, Michigan. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to click that subscribe button to come along and join me for the adventure. And don't forget to click that notification bell so that way you know when a new video goes live. Well, thanks for watching, and this is Scott of the Scott Man signing out here from south of Cadillac, Michigan.